So today we celebrate Wheel Turning Day. That's the Tibetan Buddhist holiday that marks the occasion of the Buddha's first teaching in Sarnath, India, on the Four Truths of the Aryas. So we're also in the middle of exploring monastic life program. And so I've been reflecting on what led me to monastic life. So I spent much of my life trying to find happiness and not have any suffering, like we all do. I engaged in all of the usual pursuits we're told that will bring us happiness. And what I came away with time and time again was not happiness, not contentment, but an empty place in my heart that no matter what I did wasn't filled up. So not feeling satisfied, not feeling content, but craving more and better, something different. I've been thinking about the parallels between the Buddha's life and all of ours. The Buddha saw birth, aging, sickness, and death, and was struck by the dukkha, the unsatisfactoriness of these experiences, and he decided to transcend that state. That in itself is extraordinary. Through meditation and much practice, he was able to transform his mind and body into the body and mind of a Buddha. That's extraordinary. After the Buddha's enlightenment, he had qualms about sharing what he realized, thinking it was too difficult for others to understand and practice. But thankfully, he changed his mind, and through his great compassion began teaching what he learned. He began turning the wheel of the Dharma. So we're all in the process of living these experiences now: aging, sickness, and soon death. For me, I've always felt that there's something more to life than the usual way of living, focusing on myself, figuring out how to get what I want, and then feeling disappointed again and again. But I didn't know how to achieve that happiness. Then I met the Dharma, and the path was revealed. Now, on my own, I would not have been able to find happiness and avoid suffering. I tried for many years. So the decision to become a monastic was not really so difficult because the roadmap had been drawn by the Buddha. The path exquisitely laid out in precise detail. So the remedy is in place. The question is, could I allow myself to practice it? As a layperson, there was so much noise and busy in my life that my practice was very limited in lay life. I knew the path was difficult, but I also knew that lay life was very difficult. So I was very clear that difficult would be a part of my lived experience. The question was, how was I going to manage the difficult? So I decided to move to the Abbey and try community life. I was 57 when I came to the Abbey. I forgot that I was that old. I had many identities and much lived experience. I was quite set in my ways, I would say. My self-centered thought threw a fit, a huge fit, mostly internally. I didn't reveal it very often. Of course I did when my afflictions were out of control, but inside, just a fit. My mind kept screaming, "Don't tell me what to do. I know better. Who are you people?" Every day that came up. And I would try to make suggestions, and it didn't even register with people. It was like I was invisible talking to myself. And they were really the best decisions and the best ideas, and it went right over people's head. That happened for such a long time. It was so interesting. So I started saying to myself many times a day, there are no enemies here. There are no enemies here. And that phrase was a lifesaver. It brought me back to myself and reminded me that I am creating misery for myself by how I am thinking. So the most powerful understanding that has come from living in community is that I create my own misery, and I don't have to follow that habit. That was a game changer. So the first step is accepting what my mind is thinking. That has its own set of practice. I have to decrease my arrogance and be humble, be honest with myself, be transparent. Then seeing whatever my mind is thinking, then seeing the result that that train of thought has on my peace of mind. And of course, that's another big practice, because if I get reactive to something, my mind wants to go immediately outside and put the blame somewhere. And so to keep it here, continuing to keep it here again and again and again. If I had a penny for every time I did that, we would have enough money to build the Buddha Hall right today. Right today. Mm-hmm. And then, when I can have a little distance from my mind, that's introspective awareness, and see what it's thinking and see how it's affecting me, then I can start applying antidotes. And so that's very helpful. So I have come to accept my mind has afflictions much of the time. This is ordinary. I am a very ordinary person. What is extraordinary is that the Buddha taught how to decrease and disarm these afflictions, so that there is space in the heart to develop and act from a place of equanimity, compassion, love, and wisdom. So today we can rejoice that the Buddha had the wisdom and compassionate courage to turn the wheel of Dharma for all sentient beings, and so that we too one day can turn the will of Dharma for sentient beings.